Hey guys, welcome to today's tutorial where we're going to be talking about how to make a table in HTML. So I've gotten a web page started here for us. It's called example.html, and you can see that I also have it loaded in the browser over here. So what we're going to be creating is a cookie price chart, and we're going to be replicating this one we found online. This table has 5 different cookie sizes, and it has prices for basic, detailed, and elaborate. So we're going to be taking this table and recreating it in HTML for our web page. So let's get started. So step 1 for our table, we need to start with a table element. So let's go ahead and put that in our web page below our heading Cookie Price Chart. So the table element we've just created is going to contain all the information for our table. Step 2, we need to create the different rows for our table. If we look back at the table we're recreating, we'll see that we have a row for the headers, a row for petite, a row for small, a row for medium, one for large, and one for extra large. That means we need 6 different rows for this table. So the way we create a table row is we use the table row element, and that can be made by typing in TR for table row. So let's go ahead and make our 6 rows. There we go. Now we have 6 table row elements, one for each row in the table we're recreating. Now step 3. We need to create headers for our table. As you can see, we have 4 cells in the header row of our table. The first one's blank, the second one is basic, the third one is detailed, and the fourth one is elaborate. So let's go ahead and put that into the first row of our table. To put a table header element into our table, we use the TH tag, just like this. And we need to make sure to close it. That's going to create one table header cell for the table we're creating. So we've created one element here, which is going to be the first table header cell in our first row. So now let's create the next 3 table header elements. There we go. Now we have 4 table header elements, one for each column in our table. So the first one remains blank, as you see over here. The second one says basic. The third says detailed. And the fourth is going to be labeled elaborate. So let's look at what we have so far. Let's go up and save our file. And let's reload it in our browser. So you can see our 3 table headers are now displaying on our page. However, it's kind of hard to see that this is actually a table. So let's go ahead and put a border on our table so we can better see where the data is actually going. So we're putting a 1 pixel border on our table. Now let's save this and refresh our browser one more time. And here you can see we actually have created a table. Our first row contains our table headers. The first cell is blank, and the second, third, and fourth table headers actually have content in them. Now that we have our table headers set up, we can go ahead and start filling in the information for the rest of our table. So let's go ahead and fill in this first column of information. The way we create a regular table cell, which are all the cells on the 2nd through 6th rows, is we use a table data tag. And what that looks like is a TD. For our second row here, let's go ahead and put in our first table cell with the TD tag. We'll put in the data, which is petite, and we'll close that. Now let's save this and see what it looks like on our web page. So you can see in the second row, in the first cell, we have the word petite. Now let's fill in the rest of this column. Here's our table with the first column of information filled in. You can see for each row in our table, we've put in a TD element for table data, containing the information for the first column. If we go ahead and save this and refresh our web page in the browser, we'll see that the whole first column is now populated with information. Now let's fill in the information for the second row, which is the prices for the Petite cookies. So here's our second row filled in with information about the Petite cookies. So again, this is the second row here, and we have 4 different table cells going across this second row. Let's save this file and refresh it in our browser. And you'll see we have the prices for the basic, detailed, and elaborate Petite cookies filled out. So let's put in the information for the rest of these cookies. We have our whole table here, which starts with our table tag. We have 6 different rows to our table, each one corresponding to a TR tag in our code. We have 3 table headers, denoted by the TH tags in our first row. And we have all the other information for our table in our table data or TD tags. Before we go, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out in the code so you can see all of the code at once for our table. Here you go. This is all the code required to make our cookie price chart table. Just remember, step 1, create your table element. Step 2, create your rows. Step 3, create your headers. And step 4, create your table data. And that's how you make a table in HTML. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more HTML tutorials, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Bye-bye.